with my mum and my sister watching the COVID announcement.
Leo Varadkar.
Leo Varadkar.
Leo Varadkar.
Leo Varadkar.
Leo Varadkar came on and he announced that schools were going to be closed. I remember being in your house and being really kind of anxious.
Something really big was happening. Horrible feeling in the air. And everybody just froze.
We're all looking at each other like, what is this? What do you mean we can't see each other? What do you mean we're going into a lockdown? What's a lockdown like?
And all of a sudden it became very real. We were told to take our laptops and we were no longer allowed into the office.
Working from home for a week or two.
It'll be gone. Stop crying.
We'll see each other in a week max. Thought everything would be okay.
It was going to blow over.
And that was going to be it, and it was just going to be fine after it.
It wasn't 3 weeks, it wasn't 3 months.
We kept being put back and the restrictions got worse.
And it wasn't until people really started dying, started to get really scary.
Everyone was so nervous to meet each other.
You couldn't see an end route out of it.
I thought that loads of people around me were going to die.
I really found the first lockdown definitely the hardest.
My mental health was on the floor.
I was an awful lot in my head, a lot more. Anxiety definitely worsened.
I found myself getting really antisocial.
I remember one time Mum came into the room and it was 8:30. She's like, good morning, and I was like, why did you wake me up? I was like, this is another hour that I have to be awake for this day.
Actually, just no point going downstairs.
January this year, I felt that just everybody was having a bad time. We all just had a couple of weeks in January. Everyone was depressed. There was no hope. It was quite bleak, and I felt that.
My mum and dad are separated, so when we did lockdown, me and my sister stayed with my mum 2-3 months where you just didn't see him in person at all, which was kind of hard.
My mom moved abroad, and then the time difference makes it so hard to talk to her. Summer 2022, by the time I get to see her. It's mad. I'll be 22 instead of, so she saw me as 20. It's just mental.
Being in a separate country, away from your loved ones, away from my daughter, away from my family, away from everything that is familiar, was really tough.
Even if you're fine and your family are fine, the world isn't fine, and you can feel that.
My plans of me travelling everywhere have been just put on a complete halt, and it makes me feel like I don't actually know what I'm doing or who I am, if that makes sense.
You feel a bit robbed of your youth almost.
People are losing people from something that happens to them within a week. It made me appreciate the people around me so much more.
Family and friends are the most important thing.
I don't think we're going to take things for granted.
Never want to take anything for granted ever again. We're more expressive for how much we tell each other how much we love each other now, and that is lovely.
I'm just a lot more grateful for really just the little things, like calling out to my dad and having a cup of coffee, whereas before that would have been kind of something I had to do and kind of fit it into a busy schedule, whereas now it's no, I want to spend 2 hours just sitting down having a cup of coffee. The simple things are so much more important.
Time to slow down and think about what's important.
I didn't do enough for myself, started doing more for myself.
I lost a bit of weight. I learned how to cook.
I basically did all the things that I had wanted to do, just taking care of myself.
Spending time for myself, getting to know myself. So easy to get caught up in busy college life and work life and social life, where you don't actually stop to thinking okay, what's actually going on with me? Who am I?
I learned that I am actually quite resilient.
I'm actually surprised how well I've done.
I definitely grew a lot over the last year.
A little bit scared about the future post-pandemic. Before, everyone was like, oh, you don't know what's around the corner, but whereas now I'm we really don't know what's around the corner.
I worry that this will roll on and on and on, but at least I'm doing what I feel I can do to try and play my part in coming out the other end of the pandemic and kicking it into fucking history.
The vaccine scares me a little. You're going to have to get it to travel, and I want to travel. That scares me a little.
I think I'm hopeful about the future. I think we'll go back to normal.
We will eventually go back to normal. Post-lockdown, we're never going to be the same again.
It's never going to be normal again.
It'll never be the same.
When you break a plate, you can't put it back the same way. And I think that's what lockdown has done. It's literally just broke
all of our current structures, and I think even if we try to put them all back in the same way, I just don't think they're going
It
to.
might go back to a better normal.
To be free to do what I want when I want.
I cannot wait to go home.
I can't wait to see my nanny.
Give my nana a hug.
Even just to hug someone.
Don't have to wear masks again.
Seeing people's facial expressions, that's one thing I'm looking forward to, is like facial expressions.
I think it will be a little bit crazy, but
We might be better people after it.
It's really had a very cohesive effect on society.
As a generation, we'll be much more modest.
It has grounded us all. We are now all experiencing the exact same type of life.
It was probably a life lesson.
Life is just not about getting stuff done, it's actually just about being here in the moment.
I can't wait.
the roaring 20s. Ready for it. I'm up for it.
2-3 weeks, Tara, it'll be gone. Stop crying. It'll be fine. Like, we'll be in buskers in June.